Hey y'all, welcome back, and today we'll be doing Cape Economics, Unit 2, Paper 2, May, June 2019. Let's get into it. Module 1, Models of the Macroeconomy. 1A, describe each of the following components of aggregate expenditure, investment. Within the framework of aggregate expenditure, investment constitutes a significant component that contributes to a nation's overall economic activity and output. It represents the investments made by both private and public businesses in acquiring capital goods and assets intended to generate future economic benefits. Gross spending. In economics and aggregate expenditure, gross spending refers to the total spending by households, businesses, government entities, and foreign buyers on goods and services within an economy during a specific period. This component is vital in determining the overall level of economic activity and its impact on gross domestic product, GDP. Part B, use the equation below to answer the questions that follows. C is equal to A plus 0.8 YD. State which of the following or what each of the following elements from the equation above represents. A is fixed autonomous consumption. 0.8 is the marginal propensity to consume, MPC, and YD is the disposable income. Calculate the marginal propensity to save. The formula will be MPS plus MPC equal to 1. Therefore, MPS plus 0.8 is equal to 1. As a result, the MPS will be equal to 0.2. Calculate the simple multiplier and interpret your answer. The simple multiplier will be 1 over 1 minus MPC, or 1 over the MPS. And that will give us K, which is a simple multiplier, being equal to 5. If the simple multiplier is 5, it means that for every 1 unit change in investment, government spending, any other forms of autonomous expenditures, the resulting change in national income or GDP will be 5 times larger. Using the classical model, analyze the impact of an increase in the money supply on prices and outputs. The analysis must be supported by a fully labeled aggregate demand and aggregate supply diagram. Classical model. While we have the average price level on the y-axis, and on the x-axis we have real GDP output, and we see it as a long run aggregate supply curve, and then we have the aggregate demand curve sloping downwards, left to right, downward sloping. The economy is in long run equilibrium at point A, where the AD curve intersects the long run aggregate supply curve. The price level is at P sub 1, and the output is at Y sub M, which is the economy's potential of full employment level or output. If the central bank increases the money supply, it leads to a shift in the aggregate demand curve to the right. This is because households and businesses have more money to spend, which increases overall demand for goods and services. Further, in the long run, wages and prices are assumed to be flexible and fully adjust to changes in the money supply. Therefore, the economy ultimately remains at the full employment level of outputs, that is Y sub M, but at a higher price level of P sub 2, as shown by the diagram. Module 2, Macroeconomic Problems and Policies. Identify 4 issues that can be addressed by fiscal policy. 4 issues that can be addressed by fiscal policy are inflation, deflation, economic recession, and a balance of payment disequilibrium. Explain how fiscal policy can be used to address one macroeconomic issue. Fiscal policy can and has played a significant role in addressing inflation by directly or indirectly influencing the rate of aggregate demand and supply in the economy. Through contractionary measures such as reducing government spending and raising taxes, governments can decrease total demand and mitigate inflationary pressures. Therefore, by considering the total demand side and supply side factors, fiscal policy can contribute to maintaining a stable price environment and overall macroeconomic stability. Assume a reserve ratio of 10% and initial deposits of $100. Illustrate how commercial banks create money. So the cash reserve ratio or requirement is 10%, initial deposits 100, the first deposit into the bank. The bank will keep 10% and loan out the $90 remaining on credit, which creates additional money in a sense. And this process continues until the bank has no more money to loan out as the amount that is deposited into the bank decreases. This process continues until the initial 100 deposited creates an additional 900 from the bank's lending activities. Banking and money multiplier will be 1 over the 10% times 100, giving us a total of $1,000. C. Discuss 3 ways in which governments can manage the national debt in a country. Managing the national debt effectively is crucial for maintaining fiscal stability and promoting economic growth. Therefore, 3 ways governments could manage the national debt are debt rescheduling, which involves negotiating with creditors to extend the repayment terms of the existing debt. This process could include stretching out the repayment schedule, reducing interest rates, or deferring principal payments for a certain period. Debt rescheduling aims to provide the government with more breathing room, fiscal headroom to manage its financial obligations without placing excessive strain on its current fiscal situation. Also, debt restructuring involves modifying the terms and conditions of existing debt contracts to reduce the burden on the government's finances. This process could include reducing the total amount of debt, extending maturity periods, and lowering interest rates. In addition to these changes, debt restructuring is more comprehensive than rescheduling, as it involves substantive changes to the debt's terms. Lastly, a debt to equity swap entails converting a portion of the government's debt into equity ownership in state-owned enterprises or other assets. This approach essentially transforms a designated debt amount into an ownership stake. While this does not eliminate the debts, it changes the nature of the liability and can enhance the value of state-owned assets and improve their management. Module 3, Growth, Sustainable Development, and Global Relations. Distinguish between economic growth and economic development. Economic growth is a quantitative measure that refers to the increase in a country's output of goods and services, typically measured by an increase in its gross domestic product, GDP, over a specific period. On the other hand, economic development is a broader and more qualitative concept. It encompasses not only the increase in production, but also improvements in various aspects of the well-being of a population. Part B, explain each of the following economic concepts: the World Trade Organization, WTO, dispute resolution function. The World Trade Organization dispute resolution is a formal process that enables member countries to address and settle trade disputes in a structured, rules-based manner. It promotes fairness, transparency, and stability in the global trading system by ensuring the resolution of trade-related conflicts through a systematic and impartial process or approach. The theory of comparative advantage. The theory of comparative advantage underscores the advantages of specialization and trade based on relative efficiencies, allowing nations to maximize overall production and achieve gains that will be unattainable without it. Terms of trade. Terms of trade are an economic concept that measures the relative value of a country's exports to its imports. to flex the rate at which one country can exchange its exports for a given quantity of imports from another country. In other words, it represents the ratio of the average price a country receives for its exports to the average price it pays for its imports. The formula is average price of exports divided by the average price of imports times 100. Part C discussed two arguments for and one argument against the protection of infant industries. Infant industries often require time to grow, innovate, and achieve economies of scale. In this phase, they might face higher costs and lower efficiency than established foreign competitors. Therefore, by providing protection such as tariffs or subsidies to infant industries, governments can help them overcome these initial challenges and improve their productive capacity domestically first to compete globally. Additionally, gradually reducing protection over time allows these industries to develop and contribute more significantly to the economy. Furthermore, specific sectors can catalyze broader economic growth and technological advancements. Therefore, protecting these infant industries can have positive spillover effects on other sectors, generating employment, fostering innovation, and boosting demand for related goods and services. Promoting a domestic technology industry can lead to advancements that benefit multiple sectors of the economy. By initially shielding these industries from international competition, governments can foster a favorable environment for their growth, driving overall economic progress. However, a crucial argument against protecting infant industries is that insulating them from international competition can lead to inefficiency and complacency. Without the pressure to compete globally, infant industries might not strive to improve their productivity, quality, or innovation. Additionally, this lack of competition can result in a suboptimal allocation of resources, leading to higher costs and slower progress. Moreover, protectionist policies can sometimes foster a sense of dependency on government support, reducing the industry's initiative to become self-sufficient and globally competitive. And that's it, guys. See you all next time.